I first noticed it a week ago. A black sedan parked beneath my window just past midnight. At first I thought it was a neighbor or maybe someone lost. But the way it sat there, engine idling, headlights pointed directly at my apartment, felt intentional. I live on the third floor of a relatively quiet building. No one comes here without a reason. The car never pulled into a space. It just hovered on the curb, aligned perfectly with my bedroom window, like it knew exactly where to stop. I remember watching from behind my curtains, heart beating faster with each passing second. It didn't move. The headlights remained fixed, unwavering. I waited. 5 minutes, 10, 15. And then, as if on cue, the engine cut off and the car slowly rolled away without making a sound. No tires screeching. No sudden acceleration. Just silence, swallowing the street behind it. The next night it returned. This time I was ready. I sat on the couch, phone in hand, camera app open. Midnight hit, and like clockwork, the soft glow of headlights poured into my living room. I crawled up to the window and peeked out. There it was again. Same model, same spot, same eerie stillness. I snapped a photo. The camera struggled to focus through the glass, and when it finally did, the result was odd. The headlights were visible, yes, but the rest of the car, its body, its outline, looked smudged. Like the image was trying to forget it ever existed. I blinked, checked the window with my own eyes again. It was still there, tangible, real. But the camera didn't seem to agree, and that unsettled me more than the car itself. The next few nights it returned, never missing a beat. I started staying up just to track its arrival and departure, trying to understand what it wanted, who was inside, why it kept coming back. Then I made the first mistake. I stepped outside. The night I stepped outside, the air felt unusually still, like the world was holding its breath. I walked slowly down the stairs, each creak of the old wooden steps amplified in the silence. My heart was hammering against my ribs, but I kept going. When I reached the lobby, the car was already there, waiting, blacker than the night around it. Its windows were tinted pitch dark, but I could feel something watching me from inside. Not see, feel, like pressure on my skin or static in the air. I stepped out onto the sidewalk. The moment I did, the sedan's engine purred to life. It didn't peel away or speed off like I half expected. It just started to roll, slowly, smoothly. The headlights remained fixed on me, and it followed as I walked down the block. I tried to act normal. I pulled out my phone, pretending to scroll, heart pounding in my ears. But I could hear the tires behind me, a low crunch on the pavement. It kept the same pace, never overtaking, never falling behind. 2 turns later, I tested it. I abruptly crossed the street. It followed. Not aggressively, not dangerously, just deliberately. That word kept echoing in my mind. Deliberate. This wasn't a prank, it wasn't random, it had a purpose even if I couldn't understand it yet. I turned back toward my building, walking faster now. The car mirrored me, every movement, every turn, like a reflection on water. When I finally reached my front steps, I hesitated. I didn't want to turn my back to it. But I forced myself to move, up the stairs, one step at a time, and that's when I heard it. The engine stopped, followed by the creak of a car door opening. I froze. For a long moment I stood there on the top step, gripping the rail so tight my knuckles went white. I couldn't bring myself to look. I didn't want to see who or what was getting out. Eventually I forced myself to peek. The door was shut again. The car was gone. No screeching tires, no roar of the engine, just empty street and the faint whisper of wind through the trees. I thought I imagined it, a trick of the mind. Until I checked my apartment security cam the next morning. The footage showed me walking back home, and behind me, the black sedan, gliding like a shadow. But the truly disturbing part, the camera didn't record it leaving. The next few days felt unreal. I stopped sleeping properly. Every night I sat by the window waiting for the car, and every night it returned. Same time, same position, always watching. I tried reporting it. The police said if the car wasn't trespassing or threatening me directly, there was nothing they could do. Probably someone working night shifts, they said. But I knew better. No one stares at the same window every night unless they have a reason. I even asked my neighbors, but no one else seemed to notice anything. One of them told me the street was empty every night. Quiet, peaceful. That made it worse, because I saw it. I knew it was there. I started taking videos, dozens of them. But the strange thing was, whenever I played them back, the car wasn't visible. The light was there, the headlights glaring through the glass, but no vehicle. Just beams of light hanging in the air like ghosts. It made me question my sanity. Then one night I gathered enough nerve to get closer. I waited for it to arrive, then snuck out through the back entrance of my building. I circled around the block, trying to approach from behind. My plan was to get a clear look at the license plate, or at least the driver. When I turned the corner, I saw it idling in the same spot, engine purring low. I stayed low, hiding behind a trash bin, peeking just enough to see, and then the driver's side window rolled down. There was someone inside. I couldn't see clearly at first, just a silhouette, but then the figure leaned forward, into the light. I nearly screamed. It was me, my face, my eyes, my same jacket, sitting in the driver's seat staring directly ahead at my window. I froze, heart crashing in my chest. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but I couldn't move. I was watching myself. Watch myself. I blinked once and the window rolled back up. I stumbled backward, knocking over the trash bin, the crash echoing through the street, and in that instant the headlights snapped off. Darkness swallowed the road. By the time my eyes adjusted, the sedan was gone again. But this time I wasn't just scared, I was sure of it now. This wasn't just a stalker, this was something far worse. Something that wore my face. After seeing myself behind the wheel, I stopped going outside at night. I kept every light in my apartment on, I covered the windows. But somehow I could still feel it. The presence, like it had seeped into the walls, waiting just beyond the edge of perception. Sleep became impossible. My reflection started to feel wrong, off. It moved like me, looked like me. But there was something colder in its eyes, a stillness. I'd catch myself in the mirror and feel like I was the one being watched. Then one night the car didn't show up. For the first time in weeks, I felt a flicker of relief. Maybe whatever it was had moved on, maybe it got bored, but that hope was short-lived, because now it was inside. I woke up around 3 a.m. to a strange buzzing sound, faint, mechanical, coming from my living room. I crept out of bed, barely breathing, and followed the sound. There, in the center of the room, was my TV, on, despite being unplugged. The screen glitched with static, lines distorting in rhythmic waves. And then, it changed. There I was, sitting in the black sedan. On the screen, I watched myself gripping the steering wheel, staring ahead with lifeless eyes. The image began to zoom in, closer and closer, until the only thing visible was my face. But it wasn't me. The thing wearing my face smiled. Just a twitch at first, but it spread wide. Too wide. Unnatural. Like the skin was being stretched from the inside. The screen flickered violently and the smile twisted into something hollow. Hungry. I yanked the TV's power cord again, even though it already wasn't plugged in. The image stayed for 3 more seconds, then disappeared. I started packing that morning. I couldn't stay. I didn't care where I went, just away. Somewhere far, somewhere the car couldn't follow. I thought it was over, but it wasn't. Now, everywhere I go, I see glimpses of it. Reflections in storefronts, flashes in the rearview mirror, shadows at the edge of traffic. And last night, it was waiting for me in the parking garage of my new apartment. Same car, same headlights. Only this time the driver's door was open, waiting,